welcome to this Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 1, Mercy review. Now, in terms of this episode, to be honest, I think it was a pretty poor opening. It was just far too slow. I understand, like, sort of cutting back to certain scenes that almost like they're preparing for the overall episode, but there was just so many scenes that might be essentially flash forwards, which, I don't know, they just didn't seem to work. They were trying to essentially use like the 100th episode to reflect back on like the first episode, which is probably not a good thing to do because now it feels like there's just too many characters sprawled all over the place, and you don't have time to touch on them quite as much. Like obviously in the first season, first few episodes, obviously it was mainly focused around Rick. Now you got a dozen or so characters with all their own little bits and pieces. But there's also things like there was some awful CGI and visual effects in this first episode. Particularly, like there was one scene where a car blew up, and I just laughed at how bad the CGI over that the flames were. Because I mean, this show, its ratings have dropped recently, but still, it's one of the biggest shows in television. And the fact that they're cutting so many corners just shows that the executives are just trying to milk this as much as possible. Because, I don't know, this plot line should have been around at least probably a couple of seasons ago, just to try and speed things up. Because the pacing of Walking Dead, the last 3 or 4 seasons, it has been dreadful, just so slow. I mean, Season 6 and Season 7, you could have sliced them together and all been good. But anyway, perhaps getting back into the episode. I mean, to be honest, Abraham Lincoln as Rick, he does a good job, but he's just given not really much to do, and there's some decisions in this episode where you're like, what are you doing? You got a nice, easy option there, and you go for a rather stupid, complicated way. I mean, I do like Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Negan. Acting is good, but the problem is he's just too bouncy and jumpy, and it's like, what are you doing? He's like would be an easy target for a good sharpshooter. I know obviously Sasha was a sharpshooter and she went last season, but come on, there's surely some decent shots there. I mean, they've been on the run for several years. I mean, even in the earlier parts of the episode, there's some nice scenes where they were taking out scouts. What are you thinking? Just think of this logically when you try and go in for the episode. So, anyways, fingers crossed they can pick the pace up a little bit. But on The Walking Dead, it's gonna drag and drag and drag. And I mean, if this all-out war does last more than a season, well, I mean, The Walking Dead will still survive for at least a few more seasons, I think. But, I don't know, it's just a slow, steady decline that seems to be happening. But anyway, guys, that's my early thoughts on The Walking Dead Season 8 premiere. Might get a more extended version of this later on, but see what happens. So thank you for listening. If you liked this content, please subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.